Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Eric Bailly has signed a new contract at Manchester United. It keeps him at the club until 2024. There's also an option to extend for a further year. ESPN said earlier on today that Eric Bailly was close to signing a new contract after breakthrough in negotiations with the club and the player. I'm actually surprised at this because earlier on this season it said contract talks were on hold with Eric Bailly because he wanted assurances over his playing time. Earlier on this season, Bailly apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Manchester United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because it did mention that Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted at the club. And earlier on this season, Bailly came out and said we were only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Bailly had like a year left on his current contract, obviously before he signed this new one. Solskjaer spoke about Eric Bailly prior to the game against Burnley, and he said he was relaxed over his future, and he did confirm then he was in contract talks with the player. I like Eric Bailly a lot. He's a very, very good centre-half. He intercepts the ball well. He shows the ability to play out from the back. He's very effective in the air. My only element of concern about him is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. I think he'll get his way back into the team now. Bailly has been at Manchester United a few years. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. So there you go. Now, I want to delve into some news on Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. So Chelsea are looking to hijack our move for Raphael Varane. Now, it does say that Chelsea are now the favourites to sign Raphael Varane, and they are ahead of PSG and Man United in the race. And Chelsea are prepared to pay Real Madrid's 61 million asking price. Bill's Christian Falk said not so long ago that Chelsea had entered the race for the player. Now, he's broke silence on his future. He insists that his future is clear as he approaches the final year of his contract at Real Madrid. Now, it recently said we'd been handed a boost in our pursuit of Raphael Varane, because it said Real Madrid are closing in on David Alaba from Bayern Munich. And it said that Raphael Varane prefers a move to Manchester United over PSG. Some clubs are willing to wait until next year to get Raphael Varane, because obviously next year he's going to be available on a free transfer. Now, the other week, reports were stemming from Spain saying that Man United were in advanced talks with Real Madrid. So, reflecting on that, it said Varane to Man United was close. It said Real Madrid were demanding like 60 million, but it said we hope to lower their 60 million asking price. Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid in the summer transfer window. His contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda come out earlier on this season and said that Raphael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer. But I'd certainly take him at Manchester United. Main explanations is because he's a world-class centre-half. He'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. He's highly experienced, and I can assure he would exceed expectations in the Premier League. He's got a good pedigree as a player. He's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. He's made over 300 appearances at Real Madrid, but he's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them 10 years. You know, Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. So that's more news on Raphael Varane. We've been looking at quite a few centre-halves. It said a few weeks ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. But in general, there's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. Obviously, Jadon Sancho, he's been on our agenda for a long time now. Man United are the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho this summer. Now, earlier on this season, it said that Borussia Dortmund did give Manchester United a new transfer price for Jadon Sancho. It said Dortmund are open to selling him for £86 million. So they have lowered their asking price because initially they was demanding £108 million. Borussia Dortmund have already admitted that they'll sell Jadon Sancho for the right price this summer, and Borussia Dortmund's CEO did reveal that the club will discuss exceptional offers for Sancho. Dortmund have made it clear they won't let, their players go on a cut price deals. Now, earlier on this season, it said we believe we could get Sancho for a cut price fee, and it said we was preparing a bid of 50 million. But earlier on this season, it said we actually dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Now, obviously, last summer, he was our number one priority target. And last summer, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United was extremely close. But the main explanation his move to Man United didn't materialise is because we was reluctant to meet Dortmund's £108 million asking price. We was only willing to pay so much up front, but he said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and even a contract had been agreed. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer, don't forget, that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. And obviously, we missed out on that deadline. So, reflecting on that, Sancho remained at Dortmund. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too has Bill's Christian Falk. Analysing the vast majority of Sancho's career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. This has been Sancho's 4th season at Dortmund. He did make an admission earlier on this season saying that he endured a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy to be back among the goals. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City in 2017. The main explanation he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. Sancho is under contract with Dortmund until 2023. Don't forget, we was willing to offer him that number 7 shirt. Man United have been looking at some strikers. You obviously know the news regarding Erling Haaland. You know the news on Harry Kane. So there you go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for him and Manchester United in general. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. And I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. Earlier on this season, it said that Man United are expected to spend big, but Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I can assure Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season, because it's already been made clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked if we fail to win the Europa League this season. But I've already said it in regards to Solskjaer, he does deserve at least another season at Man United because progress has been made. You know, this has been Solskjaer's second full season, so obviously next season will be his third full season. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season, though, that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager, and he should get the backing he deserves because, you know, we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football, and obviously we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. We're going to offload quite a few players in the summer transfer window. Now, it looks like Edison Cavani is going to be leaving the club. Solskjaer recently said, though, that Edison Cavani's future has not 100% been decided. Cavani recently put a transfer request in because he had a meeting with Manchester United and he's asked Manchester United to leave to join Boca Juniors. Now, Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Cavani was willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He's already got a verbal agreement with them, and he said Boca Juniors were willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Now, Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United, and obviously Cavani's father came out earlier on this season, said that Cavani is unhappy. He doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. It said the other week that we'd been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Cavani, because it said the Uruguay manager advised Edison Cavani to stay at Man United. Well, stay in Europe, sorry. But earlier on this season, we held showdown talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club. And Solskjaer said prior to the game against Tottenham he was unsure over Cavani's future. But I'd like him to stay for next season, and I presume a lot of Manchester United fans would like him to stay for next season. I believe Solskjaer would like him to stay because he has made a very good impact since he's come in. You know, in a lot of his games, he's been very consistent. You know, his hold-up play's been good, his movement in and around the box has been good, he's created chances and he's scored very, very good goals. But there again, there's also been some games where he's not got enough service and he's looked isolated. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. And don't forget, he's sustained a few injuries at the club. Anthony Martial, do you think we could offload him in the summer transfer window? Now, throughout the course of this season, Martial's been criticised a lot. A lot of Manchester United fans have come out and said, we need to sell him. The chances have been there for him this season, but he hasn't converted them. Earlier on this season, though, Solskjaer did say he was impressed with Martial's work rate. And, he said he was backing him to rediscover his form. Martial's out with a knee injury at the moment. It's very, very likely he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Martial sustained a knee injury whilst he was on national duty with France. I reckon he's had 2 good seasons at Man United. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. And he's been at the club now over 5 years. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. I reckon we'll get around 30 million for Martial if the club decide to sell him in the summer transfer window. Donny van de Beek, I think we should offload him because quite clearly he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. I've said so many times we need to use Donny van de Beek more. I got an assist against Burnley the other week. That was actually on his birthday. Now, earlier on this season, it said that we was considering a Donny van de Beek swap deal. And it said about a Donny van de Beek and Adrien Rabiot swap deal with Juventus. Now, Ronald de Boer earlier on this season backed Donny van de Beek to be a success at Manchester United. And he said he still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Now, ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van de Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. Earlier on this season, Van de Beek said he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future at the club because it said he wanted to leave Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last summer, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. I'm expecting us to offload Nemanja Matic as well, because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. And as you all know, I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player, and plus he's aging up. He's 33, 34 now, is he? Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been very inconsistent. There's only been a few games where he's showed consistency. The club made a mistake by giving Matic a new 3-year contract before the start of this season. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba now, he could leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Well, there again, he could stay potentially past the summer. I hope he does stay because Paul Pogba brings creativity to the team and, we've been getting the best out of him in recent months. In recent games, we've been playing him in more of an advanced role. He's very, very effective in that advanced role, but quite a lot before, we've played him in that deeper role. I'm not really that keen on him in that deeper role. Don't forget, earlier on this season, he was out with a thigh injury, so he was out for a while. First part of this season, he had an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Manchester United as Paul Pogba. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. And he's had a long-running transfer saga. You know, he's been heavily linked with a return to Juventus. I said there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus if he leaves us in the summer transfer window, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined us. You know, he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and Barcelona have been in for him. Pogba could still sign a new contract. It said not so long ago, though, that Pogba was demanding £500,000 a week to sign a new contract at Manchester United. And I said if he was to meet them demands, it'd take his overall earnings close to £800,000 a week. Pogba's current contract expires next year because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. But Paul Pogba's already insisted that he's happy at Man United, and in an exclusive interview with Sky not so long ago, he criticised Jose Mourinho, didn't he? He says Jose Mourinho went against the players and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's different. So reflecting on that, Paul Pogba is 100% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Obviously, Mini Oriola has obviously been desperate to get Paul Pogba out of the football club. Phil Jones, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's always been inconsistent. He's out with injury at the moment. He's been out for over a year now as Phil Jones, and plus he doesn't get in our 11. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This is Jones' 10th season at the club. We did get him from Blackburn. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's like our 3rd or 4th choice keeper now. And De Gea, we could sell him in the summer transfer window. And Juan Mata, I'm also expecting him to leave. So the players that we're selling in the summer transfer window will generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. But yeah, in the summer transfer window, we'll focus on the incomings and the outgoings. There's a lot of players that will stay at Man United potentially past the summer, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. You know, now, you obviously know the news regarding the Glazers. Recently, Manchester United fans protested against the Glazers outside Old Trafford. And our fans burnt the American flag. Now, prior to that, Man United fans were protesting against the Glazers at Carrington, and it said our fans were blocking entrances into the Carrington training ground. They obviously had banners. It said %51%. It said MUFC 20, and it said Glazers out. Solskjaer recently insisted that the Glazer family will not sell Manchester United. Before he said that, though, he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. Now, the Red Knights have told the Glazers to sell Manchester United. The Glazers have said they want £4 billion to sell the club. The Glazers apologised not so long ago over the European Super League plans. It'd be the right decision to get the Glazers out of the club. You know, the Glazers have been at Manchester United 16 years now, is it? Because they've been with us since 2005. We need to recommend new owners in, because I hate the way the club has been run for a long time now. You already know the news as well regarding Ed Woodward. It's been confirmed that Ed Woodward will get to choose Manchester United's next chief executive before he leaves. Now, it recently said there could be 5 candidates Man United could look at to replace Ed Woodward. It actually mentioned that Edwin van der Sar is the favourite to replace Ed Woodward. Now, if we recommended Edwin van der Sar in, it would be the right decision by the club because van der Sar knows the club well. And plus, he's got that experience. You know, he's currently the CEO at Ajax at the moment. And you've got to credit him for the work he has done at Ajax. He's done very, very well. Don't forget Edwin van der Sar was linked with a technical director's role at Manchester United. So we need a new chairman and we need new owners. That'd be very, very beneficial from a Manchester United perspective. Like I've said, in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he is our best manager since Ferguson. Because like I said earlier on, progress has been made. Obviously, our current board thinks Solskjaer is a long-term manager for Man United because it said earlier on this season that Ole agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. I think Solskjaer's got just under a year left on his current 3-year contract. I can almost assure that Solskjaer isn't the long-term manager for Man United. Obviously, Solskjaer's being criticised a lot as Man United manager because a lot of Man United fans have demanded Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club. They've obviously got main explanations why. But I still presume there's still a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and they believe that he needs more time at the club. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017. So if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. But there's a very good chance of us winning the Europa League because we are into the semi-finals. It's 5 semi-finals in total now under Ole. But we are aware that Roma is going to be a tough game. I may be doing the preview for that later on tonight. If not tonight, it will be tomorrow, the preview for the game against Roma. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 in the Premier League this season. We'll probably finish 2nd place. Obviously, we're not going to win the league because we're too far behind Man City. Man City are just, 2 wins now away from clinching the title. But Solskjaer said earlier on this season, we will never ever give up on the Premier League title. That's what he said. Just wait there a second. Yeah, that's what I said, yeah. You know, I haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is like 8 years ago now. You know, Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. Been at the club a while and we appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019, hasn't he? So anyway guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.